So, on my post-narcissist self-reflection journey that I have been on, after this just happened recently, getting past the extreme hatred, resentment, and anger that I feel towards this person, have let that go. I began to start thinking way back to the beginning because, like it or not, I had to take some blame into me falling in this awful relationship. I never in my life have been manipulated the way that this man manipulated me. I never in a million years would have thought that anyone was capable of bringing me down to the lowest point of my life like this person did. And I couldn't figure out why. I've been through my fair share of, troubles, and overall lived my life in a way where I didn't always, pretty much ever really let myself get fully attached to anybody, as of course a self-defense mechanism. So when I started thinking back to when me and my narcissist were in that love bombing stage, I think what made it so intense and what made it so difficult for me to see the signs that were right in front of me and for me to essentially accept that this isn't just a bad phase that we're going through. This isn't a rough patch. This is who he really is, and who I thought he was never existed. So in that love bombing stage, me and my ex took kind of a little snapshot of each other, because in that very moment in time, things are great. They're totally infatuated with you, you're totally infatuated with them. So you take this snapshot of them in that moment in time when things are great, and then both myself and my ex, after the love bombing stage was over, would use that snapshot that we had of each other as a comparison to who the other person is now, if that makes any sense. So he would frequently mention that he misses the old me, who I was in the very beginning. Because in the very beginning, who I thought he was is clearly not who he actually was. So he fell in love with the me who didn't realize that he was just using me yet. So I wasn't setting those boundaries in the beginning, because you're just so infatuated with the person. In a way, it's like you don't want to let them down. So whatever they ask of you, you're like, oh yeah, no problem, sure. It's no biggie. But then once that love bombing phase is over and you start realizing that, okay, this is starting to become a habit, you start to push back against the narcissist. And what do? They revert back to their snapshot version of you while they were love bombing you. And they don't understand why now all of a sudden you're giving them a hard time. They can't wrap their head around it. And I would do the same to justify when he was being a total asshole. I would think back to my little shot that I had of him in the beginning, that little quick video of the person that I thought he was, and I would justify that that is who he is. We are just going through a rough patch. It took me a couple years to figure out that the relationship wasn't normal. It was devastating, to say the least. I kept asking myself, what am I doing here? Like, I'm trying so hard. Nothing I do seems to matter. And that's when I got online and I started looking up, certain types of behaviors. That's when I stumbled upon narcissism. And lo and behold, literally every single trait check mark when it came to him.